You probably think that you are better now, better now. You only say that cause I'm not around, not around. You know I never meant to let you down.
No intro today. What's going on, guys? This is Devin, and I am ashamed of my Week 3 picks. BELLSKI and DMAN episode 2. We're in here in this little room, in the studio, whatever you want to call it.
This is the crib.
The crib. My name's Colin. This is Devin at KCR BELLSKI and at Baseball Devin on Twitter. Yeah, before we get into anything, I want to apologize and I want to retire maybe from the picking game.
The pick game, yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna pick again this next week. It was
let
bad.
me do it for you. Just let me.
I mean, we'll get you in here, maybe do a pick video with both of us, so one of our picks can be decent. But Jesus Christ. At the same time, though, can you blame me? I mean, Buffalo 26-7 over Minnesota. Washington by 2 touchdowns over Green Bay. Detroit by like 20 over New England. Like
Jaguars lose.
Jaguars 9-6 at home.
Oh my God.
You know, like I don't know, man. I understand some people got these right. One of my friends at work sent me, and he picked, and he had like 4 wrong all week or something like that. And it made me want to stop doing videos altogether. I was like, who the fuck is going to listen to me? I clearly don't know a single thing I'm talking about. But like I said, you can't blame me completely. I mean, there's a lot of people who got those games wrong. There were a lot of shocking results in the NFL this week.
Oh, I'm picking the Buffalo game wrong. I'm picking Green Bay wrong. I'm picking the Patriots wrong. I mean, that's just...
Every single one of those.
There is one game that you totally just blew, and that was the Colts-Eagles game.
Yeah, hey, it was close. 20-16, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was close. I saw Jacoby Brissett got put in to throw the Hail Mary.
Yeah, because Luck can't throw that far. He'll hurt his back or something.
The Broncos did the same thing with Osweiler back when they had Manning. It's like just
chuck it as far as you can.
Right.
Can we borrow Mahomes for this play?
Right. So, the NFL, obviously a lot of shocking results. So, before we get into all of our NFL talk, we'll just go over the games, the final scores, maybe a little bit about it. Just talk about how bad I did. I did call the Browns winning their first game of the year. They got it 21-17 over the Jets. Baker Mayfield came in. Cleveland's already named him their new starting quarterback.
As they should. Mayfield's...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I said it in the last one. I was like, you know, you never want to see a guy go out due to injury, but at the same time, I've wanted Mayfield in there since he was drafted. I'm really excited to see what he can do, and he makes the Browns watchable. Right. And Tyrod Taylor's not played well at all.
Yeah, I mean, Tyrod Taylor's... He got benched for Nathan Peterman last year. There's not
an
argument.
In the playoff race. The team made the playoffs.
Yeah, there's no argument why Mayfield shouldn't be in there right now.
Tyrod Taylor's decent. He's not bad. He's better than a lot of quarterbacks we've seen in the NFL over the last 7-8 years. There's been some bad quarterbacks.
I think he's a really good backup.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. I put him in like kind of the same class as Foles and Chase Daniel, but I don't think he's going to take you to a Super Bowl by any means.
Right. I got this one right as well. The Saints beat the Falcons in Atlanta to take control of the NFC South, 43-37. How about that Drew Brees spinning around 2 Falcons? Oh, he's so elusive. Sneaky athletic out there.
Darren Sproles taught him that 9 years ago.
Oh, man. So, not a whole lot of defense in the NFC South as we can see, but, I mean, when you have Matt Ryan and Julio Jones going up against Drew Brees and Michael Thomas, I mean, that's you're gonna see some points.
I mean, Calvin Ridley. With 7 catches, like 160 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's crazy.
Right. My Chiefs, 3-0, baby. Best team in the AFC. Over the 49ers, 38-27. They led 35-10 at halftime.
That's scary.
I don't know. I mean, Andy Reid teams do get ultra-conservative. Took the foot off the gas, but at the same time, when you have a 25-point lead at half, it's a little less nerve-wracking.
Not true. You guys lost to the Colts in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. I was just about to bring that up, but I don't know. The difference between this and then is I just feel like Patrick Mahomes has the ability to just turn it back on.
Yeah.
I mean, we did it against the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers came storming back against us in Week 1, and we were able to score a couple more touchdowns.
Are you worried, though, if you face an elite offense? I'm not saying the Steelers aren't an elite offense, but if Mahomes has just a semi-off game, and you're playing an elite offense, say you're playing the Vikings. I mean, obviously they didn't show it this weekend against Buffalo, but they do have an elite offense. Are you nervous?
I mean, yeah, I'm nervous. I know we got Denver this week, which I'm not too worried about. But then we've got Jacksonville and New England, the 2 games after that. So, I mean, we're going to play some solid teams. Both offenses obviously have not really shown signs of being great this year, but I don't know. I think it's early enough in the season, and we're going to talk about some possible additions to the Chiefs. Obviously, Eric Berry, we still don't know what's going on with him. We should have found out today. I don't understand it, man. I'm so frustrated.
sounds like they're just trying not to let anybody know about Barry.
Yeah,
they're just trying to keep it.
And
way
that's the
on
thing.
The
it's like obviously he missed all of last year. If he's still hurt, if something's going on, just tell us. Like put him on IR or something. But
yeah,
I just the more we go, he played one preseason game, and it's been like probably 45 days now since he's even been on a practice field. So it's scary, and it's been day to day the whole time. They've said day to day every time. So I don't know if he practiced today. I would assume he didn't because I feel like I would have seen it or heard it if he did.
Seen it, yeah.
Yeah, he's still out. Either way, Patrick Mahomes, honestly, his worst game of the three, but we still get the job done. He still throws for, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, still no picks on the year for him. And
sets the record, 13?
13 through 3 games now, so we'll have to look and see what the record is through 4 games. We're looking at the record. We're shooting for it. Someone on ESPN today, I was listening to NFL Live, they predicted he will throw more than 55 touchdown passes. Oh. I mean, at this rate, it's looking like it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Kareem Hunt better get a lot of reception touchdowns, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you face an elite pass defense. Denver has an elite pass defense. Yeah.
I just see.
I know
we've had such good offense, but I mean they've showed this offense still has missed plays out there on the field.
Oh, absolutely.
I know Mahomes missed a touchdown pass in week 2. I know he missed a Geezy touchdown week 3. And honestly, one thing we haven't really thought about is I know the Rams. I've said it. I've been looking forward to this Chiefs-Rams game all year. I was reading up on the Rams today, and the Rams have the 5th worst defense as far as rushing goes in the league, even though they've got Peters, even though they've got Talib, even though they've got guys like that who can help stop passes. I just feel like we haven't even seen the Chiefs
with their whole
decide
offense
to make their right. They haven't decided to make it a point to beat you on the ground, and it's pick your poison. I mean, you can have Mahomes go out there and throw for 6 touchdowns,
or just the NFL leading
or
rusher.
you can have Kareem Hunt run for 160 and 2 touchdowns. It's pick your poison with the Chiefs, and they can do either one. I think so. As soon as teams decide to make sure you don't let anything over the top, they stop putting 7-8 guys in the box, which I don't think they have been all year. But Kareem Hunt should be able to get some success on the ground. So. I don't know.
The Broncos game is going to be the set in stone just because their defense is elite.
It will be a test, honestly.
I think that's the week Mahomes throws his first pick. I'm not going to say he's not going to break the record, but I do predict Mahomes to throw his first pick.
I was thinking he was just going to throw no picks all year. He's going to go 56 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah.
How would that be for greatest seasons in NFL history? How would that go?
Nick Foles has that record.
What was 27-2, right?
27-2.
Yeah, he had a hell of a year that year, man. I remember just it was literally just Foles just dropping dimes on deep post to Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson, Macklin, it was a great year.
That was rowdy. But anyways, the Raiders fall to 0-3. I got this one right too. I must have all my good games at the top, and then I missed every one from then on. But
those are the only ones you paid attention about.
Right. Dolphins 28, Raiders 20. The Raiders have not trailed in the first 3 quarters of any game this year, and they're 0-3. That's just.
Is that coaching or is that defense? Because honestly,
I think it's both.
You trade Khalil Mack, and now you can't stop anybody.
I think it's Gruden. I think it's all Gruden, and I think it's blowing up in the Raiders' face. And I've been saying this. Back when I was a Chiefs fan, whenever we fired Herm Edwards and stuff, I remember let's get Gruden or Bill Cowher.
Yeah.
Chiefs fans are so quick with the ridiculous rumors about coaches whenever we're at the end of a current coach's tenure. I mean, I remember Mike Shanahan, Bill Cowher, John Gruden all being talked about during that time. I think we hired Todd Haley, but it was just always so funny, and I would have wanted him back then, but the difference was he had been out of coaching for 1 or 2 years, not 10 years.
Yeah,
he's just so out of touch, and you can see it. He came into it publicly saying that he's going to be old school. He's going to go. They want to run the ball, all this stuff.
Marshawn Lynch looks pretty good.
Right, he does for sure.
Ground and pound. He's trying to tire out teams. They're not getting tired.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I just think not only in an on-field standpoint, but I think he's trying to lead this team and treat these guys like you would have 10 years ago, like you would have more. And society's changed, man. It's 2018. These athletes
this ball out. Derek Carr needs to be throwing 4 touchdowns a game.
Colin Cowherd and someone else on Fox Sports 1 on Monday or Friday, I guess it would have been. We're all up in arms because Baker Mayfield had his phone in his hands after the Thursday night game when he came back out to talk to whoever the post-game interviewer was. They were just freaking out. And obviously, you remember the whole Colin Cowherd, Baker Mayfield thing. You saw that interview, right? Wherever he... Baker Mayfield let Colin Cowherd have it in an interview before because he said something about he pulled a highlight from a game where Mayfield scores a touchdown and doesn't celebrate with his teammates, and he's trying to call him selfish, and Mayfield just lets him have it. He's like, all right, what about the other 6 touchdown passes I threw where I did? And he's just going in on Cowherd. So I just don't understand. These guys hate these young guys, but what I'm trying to say is the culture has changed. Society has changed, and these athletes are different than they were then, and I think it's not going to get through to them. And obviously the coaching has changed because they're 0-3, and they can't find a way to finish out games. But I called it. I don't think the Raiders are going to be any good. I think they win probably 5 games all year. They're just not good. Yeah. Dolphins are 3-0. They lead the AFC East by 2 games over the Patriots, Bills, and that other team that won't win it.
That would be the Jets.
The Jets. See? Irrelevant. New York is Giant City. The Vikings... They lose. Mollywopped by the Bills, 27-6. It was like 24-0 at halftime or something like that.
Yeah.
It was never close. And
it was 27-0 at halftime.
It's
right there.
27-0 at halftime.
So the Bills don't score in the second half, but the Vikings don't score to the fourth quarter, and the Bills basically won the game from start to finish.
And honestly, though, I want to talk about this right now. The Everson Griffen thing is something that I think really affected this team. And I've been reading a lot of stuff on it because it's kind of a scary situation. It's really concerning. If you don't know the whole story yet, Everson Griffen, according to team officials, has been acting very strange, not himself, for the last couple weeks at Vikings practice. They've been monitoring him closely. But the hotel that he stays at in Minnesota, I guess he's had multiple altercations with hotel staff, with people in the lobby, stuff like that. He has had the cops called on him, and I guess he threatened to shoot a hotel employee if he wasn't let in his room. This comes about 2 days after the Vikings gave him an ultimatum and already told him, if you don't get a mental health evaluation, you're not allowed to practice anymore. So clearly stuff's been going on. He doesn't play Sunday, and then he jumped out of the ambulance. They were taking him to go get his mental health evaluation. I'm pretty sure it was after the game. And he jumped out of the ambulance. He was so concerned that someone was going to shoot him. He's been super paranoid. There was also a rumor here that he supposedly tried to break into a teammate's house. The team has strongly denied that, so I really don't know that happened. I think it's just people piling on rumors and stuff. But
you know how those stories go. You start hearing just...
But looking at all this on Twitter, I really like to try and follow a bunch of stuff on there. You've got your team reporters and everything, and it's just like a lot of people were saying that the Vikings were kind of in a situation where it's like, I really don't want to go out and play this game, but I have to. It's like, a lot of people saw the incident, they knew about the incident, but also some teammates didn't even know anything by kickoff. But just seems like whatever's going on with him, I hope he's all right. But that probably definitely affected the Vikings' mood, their attitude going into the game, because when you think all the news about...
good friends is just like going through it.
And I mean, it just maybe, in my opinion, what I thought was the whole CTE thing. I mean, it's been it's been in the news and stuff, and you've seen, I talked about the Javon Belcher incident back in 2012. So many things. Aaron Hernandez had severe, worse than they'd ever seen. And obviously, this is the kind of stuff that makes you act like this, and, who knows? I mean, when you think about that, like, they're sitting here thinking, wow, like, this is my teammate. He's in his late 20s, early 30s, and he's so unstable right now that he could harm himself or someone else, or he could be harmed, and he's got the rest of his life to live. He's not even done playing yet, and this is the effects that possibly that this could be having on him. Now, obviously, there might not be CTE. I hate to go there because I know it's been all in the news and all that, but it's a scary situation. I hope he's all right. Here it is.
Yeah, buddy.
Eagles 2-1. They beat the Colts 20-16.
Rodney.
I really didn't see a whole lot of this game. I was at work. I mean, how'd it go? What did it look like?
Wentz first drive or second drive, I can't remember now. I didn't get to actually watch the game. I just was peeping at it on my phone. But Wentz looked pretty good. He did throw a pick, but first game back in not quite a year, but first one back since he tore his ACL. I'm happy with his performance. He throws for 257, a touchdown, and a pick. They beat him at home. Looked really good on the touchdown drive to Goddard. I mean, can't really complain there. I mean, he got sacked quite a bit, but didn't get hurt, and he actually looked pretty shifty in the pocket, which was really good to see.
Yeah. So the Colts hang with him. Obviously, Andrew Luck has looked decent. I mean, he hasn't looked otherworldly. He hasn't looked like a top 3 NFL quarterback or anything, but he's looked viable. He's better than they would be with Brissett. The Colts are 1-2, but to be honest, with the Texans being 0-3, with the Jags being They're 2-1, I guess now, right?
Yeah.
I think the Titans are too, but I mean the Jags showed that they're vulnerable. After I gave Blake Bortles all that praise last week, all the credit, you know, I mean, just like I said, every single thing that I picked last week was wrong. Every prediction, everything. So it's probably my fault. I probably jinxed him, and I apologize, Jags fans. But
you never know what you're gonna get out of Bortles. Like with Luck, I feel like if he's healthy, if he's on the field, if their line can protect him for more than 2.5 seconds. He's got a good chance. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have that much help receiver-wise. All the running backs are hurt. But you got T.Y., and he has the best celebration in football.
Yeah. But anyways, Colts lose the game, but honestly, after all the results of Sunday and after watching the Colts and seeing them through the first 3 games, I honestly see them as more likely to win the AFC South now than I did at the beginning of the year.
100% agree. The Jags, I mean, it's going to come down to division games, but
right, for sure.
I 100% agree. I do think the Colts are a little bit better team than what they're obviously winning percentage-wise or showing on the field, but if they're healthy, they've got a good chance if their line can protect Luck.
Right.
And that, I mean, they got to get a running back. Right. They have to have a running back.
Panthers beat the Bengals 31-21. I definitely picked Cincy in this one. The Bengals are the Bengals. I mean,
McCaffrey just had a freaking game.
Yeah, Cam Newton looks like 4 touchdowns as well. The Panthers are looking good too. They're 2-1 in the NFC. Are the Panthers, Saints, and Falcons all 2-1, or is it just Saints and Panthers? Falcons are 1-2.
Falcons are 1-2. They lost to the Eagles.
Yeah, so Saints and Panthers. I think the Saints are better just because of Breeze. I know Cam Newton is explosive, but I think he's not
a consistent. Yeah, he's got the Bortles disease.
Yeah. Speaking of Bortles, the Jaguars lose to the Titans 9-6.
What a game!
After Blake Bortles goes out and throws 4 touchdowns against New England, they win 31-20. Did they get touchdowns or was it?
No, it was literally all field goals. It's all field goals. Yep, 5 field goals in the game, and honestly, I almost want to say each team missed a field goal too, but I don't know that for a fact.
Wouldn't be surprised. Marcus Mariota came off the bench. Blaine Gabbert got the start again, but at least he's
concussion
playing again.
Protocol in the first quarter.
Did he really?
Yep. He left the game in the first quarter with concussion-like symptoms. So Mariota came in, played decent, led him to three scoring drives throughout the game, all field goals like we said, but effective.
Yep.
So obviously Jalen Ramsey can't play that good a defense when the Titans are winning.
Right. The Ravens beat the Broncos by 2 touchdowns. I said it since week 1. The Broncos aren't legit. They were 2-0, but they're not the real deal. Case Keenum is going to be better than what they had at quarterback, but he's not good enough to make them contenders, I don't think. Even in the AFC West after the first 3 games, I think we've seen the Chiefs are the class of the division.
I agree there, but I do think Keenum has the talent to where they can be a factor. I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to go out and blow everyone away. They're not going to win like that, but their defense is going to keep them in games. It's whether they can put the balls out. Yeah, it's whether they can get the ball in the end zone.
I think it all comes down to his turnovers. I mean, he's thrown quite a few touchdowns in the season already, and he's put up some yards. But I just think he had
just turns
3
the ball
touchdowns
over in
or 3 picks this game. He had multiple picks in week 1. I'm sure probably multiple picks in week 2. I don't know exactly what his stats are, but
I think he's still trying to get the feel. Being aggressive, throwing it to those guys, letting Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders do their thing. If they had a viable tight end, I would be a little bit more worried. Yeah. Their line's decent. I don't think he gets sacked all that much, but obviously it comes down to their defense.
Yeah,
the Broncos are going to be a 9-7 team, 10-6 maybe.
And that's better than I expected them to be at the beginning of the season. Honestly, I picked them to finish last in the AFC at the beginning of this year. But I honestly think they're right there with San Diego. I think it's the Chiefs, and then the Broncos and Chargers are about the same, and then the Raiders are the Raiders.
But the Chargers are going to go 2-8, and then all of a sudden be 8-8 in the playoff hunt. They do it almost every year.
Right, and they miss out by a game.
Because they just
start
wait too
terrible.
Long. Yeah, they just.
And it's disappointing, and I feel for the Chargers as much as I hate the Chargers because they're a divisional opponent. But they play 16 road games. Did you see Week 1 against the Chiefs? Week 1 against the Chiefs.
It's 80% red.
It was Arrowhead West.
It's crazy. But they're in LA. They share the city. And obviously the Rams had 95% of the fans. I don't think LA really wants the Chargers there. I think it was more of a greed thing. I think they should have stayed in San Diego.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of which, both those teams played this week. Rams win 35-23 to improve to 3-0. Chargers fall to 1-2. Yeah, I mean... And the Rams did it right, too. If you're going to play in LA, you've got to have an exciting team. And what did the Rams do? They've got Todd Gurley, who's a prolific running back, one of the best in the league last year. They've got Jared Goff, who's played much better since his rookie year. They go out and get Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib. Those are 2 stars. And Ndamukong Suh, right. There's so many. There are so many guys.
Loaded up.
They did it right. They went out there and they got big names. They got exciting guys. Marcus Peters was a star in Kansas City. If you're a star in Kansas City, you're going to be a superstar in LA. It's hard to get that airtime. But whenever you play as well as you do, whenever you've got that personality that he does, he's a star. And the Rams have a lot of those. And they're an exciting football team to watch, and they're a better football team than the Chargers. And, yeah, they're LA's team, and I feel for the Chargers. Hopefully, once they get that new stadium and they're not playing in a 20,000-seat soccer complex, that it'll get a little bit better for them.
But they can't even fill that, so
that's true. Not with their own fans.
You're going to put a stadium with 50,000. What are they going to have? 4,000 Charger fans?
Hopefully, millennials in California. Hopefully, it's just the stadium's so nice and fancy, and like all those stadiums out there are going to be.
They might be selling weed out of the stadium. If they legalize it in California, they're going to be selling it out of the stadium. That's going to be the only way they're going to get fans.
That's what they do at the O.Co Coliseum. That's what I heard this week on Fox Sports Radio overnight. They were like, I used to go to games, and there were just the stalls. There were no doors on the stalls, and people were just selling drugs out of the bathroom. If that's not the most Raiders game,
that's a
Raiders thing you've ever heard. Here's a game I got wrong. I really thought the Texans were going to get in the win column and start progressing this season, but they did not. The Giants, with that awful offensive line, beat them 27-22 in
Manning
Houston.
Actually efficient.
Yeah, 297 and 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley had a score, it looks like, and
their offense is scary. Like if Eli can
get
protected,
the problem is
I know, yeah. If he can get, he has the luck disease too. If Eli can get some sort of protection to get 3 to 4 seconds just to throw the ball. Right. Their worst receiver, I think, is Sterling Shepard, and he's not a slouch.
Right. Giants, whenever they can protect Eli, if the line can block for Barkley.
He's
Barkley
not a 2-time Super Bowl champion for no reason.
I still think Barkley can be just as good, if not better, than Zeke Elliott. The difference was Zeke Elliott's rookie year, he had an all-time offensive line, and Barkley's dealing with this shit. And
still putting up numbers.
Exactly.
The guy catches the balls out of the backfield like no other.
Right.
It's crazy. He's dual threat. He's great when he's open, and he's a scary running back. The Giants are scary. Give them 3 years and a decent line with maybe a different quarterback, obviously, but they can be good here in a few years.
Yeah. Well, after the Bills' surprising rout of the Vikings, my new worst team in the league is the Arizona Cardinals. They fall to 0-3 with a 16-14 loss at home to the Bears. The Bears' offense still doesn't look too hot. But
that defense,
they get the win, and that defense, the Bears are the anti-Chiefs. Let me tell you, that defense is scary. That defense, I would be having nightmares knowing Khalil Mack's coming.
This is a good question. If the Bears were at home against the Chiefs, how do you think that game goes?
I think the Chiefs win.
Okay, throw out some stats. Don't just say Chiefs win. Throw me something.
I think Kareem Hunt runs for 85 yards on 20 carries. They hold him a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he scores a touchdown. I think Mahomes
has to struggle that game.
I think Mahomes has about 60% completion, down from 69 what he's at right now. I think he would go for 2 touchdowns.
I think he does the Smith thing on that game, because I don't think he's going to have the time to be able to air it out.
I think the Chiefs, against the Bears defense, I think the Bears defense will get some turnovers on us. I think that'll help them. But I think that the Chiefs can still put up 28, 31 points against a team like the Bears.
The Bears are just going to kick field goals. I was just curious, because I know when I have Khalil Mack running at me, I'm going to panic. And
for sure,
he is going to destroy the right side.
And the Jaguars in 2 weeks are going to be a very big test for the Chiefs as well, because they're going to play contain with that defensive line. They're going to keep Mahomes in the pocket, and we'll see.
We'll see if Jalen Ramsey can back it up.
Right, exactly. Yeah, let's see what does Jalen Ramsey have to say about Mahomes? Talking shit on all them quarterbacks. Say something about Mahomes. Get him fired up going into that game. I want to see Mahomes drop 7.
So he can tie Foles.
Right, exactly. And Manning and all those other
the other 18 people have done it.
Yeah, right. The Seahawks beat the Cowboys 24-13. The Cowboys look terrible. Dak Prescott's
suck.
not good. I've been saying that for a long time.
This is not just me as an Eagles fan saying the Cowboys suck. The Cowboys suck. Right. Period. And Dak Prescott is a backup quarterback on, I would say, most teams in the NFL, but
I've been saying it. He rode the wave of that offensive line and of Zeke Elliott the rookie year.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
How could you not put up good numbers when you got Zeke Elliott running for 2,000 yards?
Right,
It's retarded.
Hey, Tony Romo, I know it's been like a year and a half, but you down? One more? Like 10 games?
Jerry's house, baby.
One more. Come back.
As much as Jerry fucks up the Cowboys, he needs to go play quarterback.
Right. The Seahawks improved to 1-2. I don't really think that they're very good either. That defense isn't the same.
Russell Wilson is a Dak Prescott.
I don't.
He's better than Dak. Russell is obviously better than Dak, but without the Seahawks' elite defense, it's literally all on Russell, and he cannot do it.
Well, and that's the thing, and I think that's what's not fair to him is even when they had the defense, I know they had Doug Baldwin. Obviously, they had Marshawn Lynch for a while, right? So he's hurt. I mean, I've said this multiple times. I feel like Russell Wilson has to put that entire team on his back, and he's just not capable of doing that. Not to say that he's not a good quarterback, because he's proved he is. It's not fair to him, and I think it really sucks because Russell Wilson could have been a lot better. Obviously, we saw his potential. We took him to a Super Bowl, took him to 2 Super Bowls, and won one of them. I don't know. It sucks to see, but the Vikings, the Seahawks are just not good.
Are strictly a defensive-minded team. They've been that way for 8-9 years,
and now they don't
have defense, and it falls on their quarterback, and he can't throw it to anybody. Right. Baldwin's hurt. Lockett's decent, but he's a slot receiver. And he's not going to go out there and ball every week. He's just not capable of doing that. You got to make those plays for those guys. And they don't have a running back either. They've got 4 running backs that all get 8 carries a game, and they all get 10 yards. They all suck.
Right. So Seahawks, not good. Patriots,
not good. Not good. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, through 3 games, obviously. 2014 Patriots-Chiefs Monday Night Football. Chiefs dropped 42 on them, and now the whole thing on Tuesday is, are the Patriots done? And they won the Super Bowl that year. So I'm not writing the Patriots out.
You can't, but
right.
God, they lose to Detroit. Granted, it was a road game, but it's Detroit.
Right.
Detroit's
and obviously,
not good.
Detroit has a little bit of extra fired up going into that game because of Matt Patricia coming to play the Patriots. But
and the Gronk thing.
Right, we'll talk about that here. I mean, how can you be trying to trade Gronk? Belichick has never gotten Brady other than 1 year of Randy Moss, the 07. Oh, I know, but that was the one year where he put up numbers. I mean, he had a couple other years, but he was relatively quiet. I mean, other than that, they've had no one as far as receivers have gone other than Welker's been good out of the slot. Not it's like a number 1,
and you got
Amendola for a year. You've got guys here and there, but I mean. To have so few weapons for Brady and then be trying to trade Gronk, there was a rumor that Brady was going to divorce Belichick after the season and they were going to go separate ways and stuff. And I mean, God, can you blame him? I just feel like Bill Belichick's got a hell of an ego on him. And he's just...
Has he earned it?
But at the same time, this is a team thing. I don't think Brady wins 5 rings if it's not for him, and I don't. Belichick sure as hell doesn't if it's not for Brady.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I agree there. I don't agree with the whole Gronk trade thing. I think it comes down to they heard the rumor that Gronk might retire anyway, so they're like, hell with this. We can get something for him before he does it, and then they actually agreed on the trade. And Gronk said, "I will retire if I get traded." So they're like,
and let's talk about that. Brady, who knows how many years he has left? I know Gronk's younger than Brady, but
they're gonna retire together.
I think so. I think
you're right.
Gronk has already debated retirement after the Super Bowl.
So hurt every time.
He's getting killed out there. He's getting beat up, and he's got such star power. He was at the damn Daytona 500 talking to NASCAR fans and shit, talking to
got a
NASCAR.
Car.
Yeah, this guy, as soon as he retires from the NFL, he is going to make so much more money than he ever did in the league in movies and in advertisements.
I was going to say,
absolutely. So he could retire today, and it would not matter to him. He'll make more money with endorsements. And
he's
with
already
movies.
Got his rings. He's got the best quarterback ever to play the game throwing to him.
Yeah,
he's going to be happy in the next 2 years when he's done.
Right, Gronk is for sure done once Brady's done. Maybe if not sooner. If Brady stays after this year, I don't know.
No, Gronk's not going to retire this year. Gronk will sign a 1-year deal for $8 million just to play with Brady one more time.
I can see that, man. Unless, Patrick Mahomes throws like 60 touchdowns and the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, he can come over here for 1 year and we'll repeat.
No, because Kelsey's going to go to the Eagles to play with his brother.
Oh, man, Gronk will replace him. And then he'll find Mahomes, who's so much better than Brady that he'll stay for 10 more years.
All right.
As you can tell, I'm not too excited.
Here.
Right. But hey, we've earned this, and Patrick Mahomes, I'm saying it's different. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it just feels different. It feels like 2015 to
you're not going to talk about the Steelers. Hey, they beat those winless, the undefeated Bucks.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick, not very good in the first half. The Bucs as a team not very good in the first half. He did throw 3 interceptions, but if you look, 2 of them were not his fault. One of them, the receiver stopped running his route. One of them was tipped up in the air by, I guess it was a defensive lineman, but still.
Yeah, but those
he brought him back. I mean, it was 30 to 10 at halftime,
and they hold him scoreless in the second half. That Steelers offense was moving.
Brown,
the
no
ball.
catches. Yeah. So obviously, my big hot take from my prediction video is that Mike Tomlin's going to be fired before the end of the year in Pittsburgh. They did get the win, but honestly, I still feel that way. I mean, you saw there were players having meltdowns on the sideline as they're coming back, as they're not scoring any points.
Tell you what, if he doesn't make Brown happy in the next 3 weeks, Brown and Bell are gone.
Right.
And their whole team's done. And then Tomlin's definitely going to lose his job.
Right. And Roethlisberger, does he want to stay after that?
No, Roethlisberger will retire if those guys are gone.
Because he doesn't have time for another rebuild to get more weapons around him. He's done. So it's very close to being all blown up in Pittsburgh, but
they're on a fine line, and it all comes down to Le'Veon Bell.
Well,
you know
obviously,
what I'm saying.
It came out today that now they're talking about trading Le'Veon Bell. He's available in trade talks, and you told me the Bucs, the Colts, and the Jets are 3 teams interested in him. 3 teams that have started decent. I mean, I guess not the Jets. The Colts and the Bucs are teams that have playoff aspirations still and could use him. I don't know. I mean, do you think he gets traded?
Oh, he's gonna get traded. I don't see Le'Veon Bell playing this year for the Steelers, which is fine for the Steelers because James Conner's obviously a solid back. I mean, so they don't really care. They're saving money. It's just hurting Le'Veon Bell's stats and.
I mean, it's a dent to his paychecks, but at the same time, I mean, he's made enough, and I think he's gonna whether it affects how much he makes, and I think it is gonna affect how much he gets paid in his next deal.
That's
but
what I'm saying. He's
still gonna make his, and I think he knows that, and he's saving his body for it. So if that's how he wants to do it, then I applaud him, and you do whatever you want. He clearly understands the money he's losing because he's already missed 3 weeks now, and he hasn't signed, right? So I mean, he's gone over it. He knows what's at stake, and he knows what he's losing, and he's willing to do it. So.
But who, if he is going to get traded, is it one of those 3 teams or is it someone else in the NFL? I have a feeling that it's going to be a blindside trade, not to any of those 3 teams. I have a feeling it's going to be a team like New England, who's extremely desperate to go get something other than just Tom Brady and Gronk.
That would be a hell of a game changer.
They did get Josh Gordon, so obviously they're in it to try it. Gordon obviously didn't play this week. They want him to get a little bit more healthy, a little bit more acclimated to the team.
Well, and the Patriots are always that team who's willing to take chances on guys and stuff like that.
They'll trade 3 draft picks.
New England, right? Obviously, they're a team led by Brady, but I mean, if things are changing, if Brady maybe regressing a little bit this year, who knows?
Yeah, and they haven't had a running game really.
You're right. I mean, they've never really had a running game. I mean, they literally recycle running backs like it's plastic.
Nothing. Yeah,
I mean, it's just.
And they all want pass catchers. Well, if you have a pass catching running back,
Bell,
Le'Veon Bell is that guy.
Le'Veon Bell
and he can take a huge beating. He'll run the ball 35 times and catch it.
That would be the most Patriots thing. Start like 3-5 or something, and then find a way to get
Bell,
make the playoffs. And once they're in the
3
playoffs,
straight shot
Brady, Belichick, and Bell. It's over. Yeah, I mean, then it's
free shot to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, of those 3 teams, I would think either the Colts or the Bucs. I feel like the Colts more likely, but at the same time, the Colts need to save their picks and improve their defense and improve their line. They don't need to be making trades for running backs and trading high picks because they still need to improve that team around Andrew Luck, right? In order, that's why I kind of think healthy.
It might honestly be the Jets because they're kind of all in on who's their Sam Darnold. So
yeah, but I mean, he looked great in week 1, but he has not looked very good in the last 2 weeks.
They also don't really have a running back. I mean,
that's
the
true.
Jets, they have Crowell and they have Bilal Powell. Not terrible running backs, but
there's a lot of better running backs.
There's a lot of better running backs, and if you can get Le'Veon Bell to help Sam Darnold, that team's going to obviously take a next level.
I mean, you look at the Eagles trading for Ajayi last year.
Yeah, and they had good running backs.
Right, they already had Clement and they had Sproles.
They had Clement and Sproles. Well, Sproles got torn ACL.
Yeah, he was out, I guess, early.
And then they had LeGarrette Blount. So,
true.
I mean, LeGarrette Blount was obviously
the starter. Of good running backs. Yeah,
they had 4 good running backs because Wendell Smallwood played this week. He had 10 rushes, 56 yards, and a touchdown. And that's their 4th running back. Yeah. So I mean, he can make plays, but they go get Ajayi. Why wouldn't another team like that go get Bell? If he's not playing, you can use that against the Steelers and maybe get him a little cheaper. I doubt it, but just a tad. And I was kind of throwing out something too. I'm like, Man, if I was the Eagles and I could go get Le'Veon Bell, throw Ajayi in the trade, a first-round pick, and I'd say a third, fourth-rounder, they would have to take that seriously. And that's just the Eagles. That's me dreaming a little bit, Madden style. But a team like the Patriots, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go trade 2 first-rounders and a fourth-rounder for him? I mean, why wouldn't you? You know you only got 2 or 3 years maybe of Tom Brady, maybe 2 more years of Gronk. I mean, try to get those rings.
So there you have it. That's the week 3 results. I'm never doing my picks again. I'll just tell you who's playing and give you the spread or something, but I'm not picking them again. I got the Chiefs games right every week, though, so there's that. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. With the results in hand, though, it's Tuesday, and all the power rankings came out, and there are 2 teams, the consensus 1 and 2, and it's my Kansas City Chiefs and the St. Louis Rams. The Rams play on Thursday night, and we can talk about this game here. LA Rams. Oh, wow. St. Louis. San Diego Chargers is one thing, but St. Louis Rams, that's bad.
Did they have a football team, St. Louis? They had one?
You wouldn't think so.
They had Gurley, didn't they?
Their baseball.
That's right. We'll get there, too.
Right. Yeah, that's true. The Rams, we can, I guess, pick this game real quick. The Rams play the Vikings at home on Thursday night. And
Rams are 6.5-point favorites.
And I see that. I got the Rams in this game.
I got the Rams winning.
Even with their injuries, Talib is set for surgery.
Vikings
he's gonna miss about a month. Peters is questionable to play, but it originally was that he could miss 2 to 4 weeks. So I don't know if either of them are gonna play this week. I don't know. I think the
Vikings
Rams
might
either
get
way.
Cook.
That's true.
Dalvin Cook might be coming
back. That would be a game changer for him. But fortunately, these injuries are happening at the right time for the Rams. That neither of them are too serious. They'll give each player time to get back and get into it before the playoffs start. But yeah, I mean, the Rams have been my Super Bowl pick, and the Vikings, with the way they looked last week, I mean,
who's going to win the North?
Made the pick a lot easier for me. I mean, shit. The Bears are in first right now, right? I think it's the Packers, as long as the Packers have Aaron Rodgers. Not that the Packers are a good team.
They just lost to Washington.
I know.
We'll see what happens.
They're what, 1-1 now too?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. As long as the Packers have Rodgers, I just got them. But yeah, we'll start with the SI power rankings, and this is my favorite power rankings because the Kansas City Chiefs are number 1. Last week they were number 3. Obviously they beat the 49ers 38-27. The CBS Sports Power Rankings have the Rams at 1 and the Chiefs at 2, as do the ESPN Power Rankings. And who's your number 1 team in the league?
It's got to be the Rams. And, I mean, injuries are happening, so I could see why you would lead to the Chiefs. They're pretty much healthy other than the Eric Berry thing. Mahomes has obviously looked outstanding. Hasn't thrown a pick yet. Sets the record. But overall, I think you got to give it to the Rams just because the defense has played well.
Right.
And
way more complete team. And I agree with you.
The Rams' run defense, though, sucks.
True.
And I don't know why. They got Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. They need a linebacker that can play. Everything else on that team is outstanding.
Yeah. I got the Rams myself. Obviously, I love the Chiefs. I'm this high on Patrick Mahomes. I'm riding that wave, and I'm enjoying every second of it. But you're right. I mean, the Chiefs can't be number 1 if the Rams are playing good offense and good defense.
And another
the Chiefs
reason
have not played good defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. The Chiefs haven't. I mean, they've won games, but they've had to score, 35 points in every game?
I will give the credit I'll give to the Chiefs defense is that they've made stops early. Every game we've gone up like 14-0. I think we've been up 14-0 in all 3 games.
All 3 games. 21 against the Steelers.
Right. I mean, you can't. That's one thing. I mean, and it's easy because
we talk about have stops late, and I'm not saying that.
No, you're right.
I would rather my defense
once that other offense gets momentum going, then it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately we stopped San Francisco. I think it was the drive where Garoppolo tore his ACL, but I mean, they're up 38-24, and they're driving late in the 4th, and it's like shit. It's about to be a 7-point game.
That's because they got that touchdown taken back on a bullshit pass interference play.
Oh, yeah, you're right. See,
so they had to kick that field goal. So if they score there, it becomes 35-31.
Right, 38-31.
Or 38-31.
I mean, still. And that's the Chiefs having 3 points in the first half. So, I mean, defense has got to figure it out. And we'll talk about Earl Thomas possibly. I'm hoping that's an addition that we can try and figure out.
What are you giving up for him?
Me?
If you're a Chiefs fan, what do you realistically give up for Earl Thomas, a guy who obviously has 2 picks against Dallas?
If I am the Chiefs, I'm giving a first-rounder.
You think?
I'm giving a first rounder, and I'm even willing to throw in a 3rd and a 4th. Earl
you don't
Thomas,
care. You're just let's get it.
I'm all in, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Zobrist. This is the Cueto trade for me. I mean, the offense is the best offense in the league so far. I understand it's young. You've told me 18 million times it's a young season. I'm aware of that.
Injured Carson Wentz. He's over here saying Mahomes is that much better. I'm like, Wentz hasn't even played yet.
Oh, I mean,
Wentz is still the best young quarterback in the league.
For now.
Mahomes, I mean, obviously Mahomes can do it. I mean, Mahomes sets the record. Mahomes is
right.
He's the best young AFC quarterback.
Absolutely.
And I don't think there's a question about that. Obviously, there's still more young talent in the NFC right now.
And this has got to be, I mean, you think between last year and this year, this has got to be the best two quarterback classes back-to-back since
absolutely.
04, 05.
There's not even a question about that.
I mean, because 04 was like Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning and one other. Breeze, and then Palmer was, I guess Palmer's 03, but 05 was Aaron Rodgers, and there was one other guy in 05. I mean, that was the last wave of quarterbacks, and obviously we're still seeing a lot of those guys in the league. They're towards the end of their careers now, but I mean, in the last 2 years,
Trubisky,
I mean,
you get
Trubisky, Watson, and Mahomes last year, and then you've got Darnold, Rosen, Mayfield. There's a fourth guy I'm forgetting this year too. Josh Allen. I mean, this is a lot of quarterbacks, and we've seen sparks of really good quarterback play from all four of those. Josh Allen included.
They all make their rookie mistakes, but
right. But I mean, this I'm really excited. I always love watching young quarterbacks play, and over the last 8 or 9 years in the league, we've seen a lot of bad quarterbacks. Man, I mean,
it's really been a 3-year wave. You got Jared Goff number 1.
Right. Yeah.
Eagles trade
Wentz.
Eagles trade Cleveland to get number 2. They draft Wentz. I mean,
I was just saying last week how it's a new wave of running backs in the league with young guys like Elliott and Barkley and Hunt, but I mean quarterbacks as well. It's nice to see because there's been some bad quarterback play. Some bad quarterbacks
just
starting
look at
in the
Cleveland's
league.
last 15 years.
Right.
They've had 47
the Jaguars,
quarterbacks.
some of those guys.
I mean, oh my God.
I mean, yeah, there's bad quarterbacks out there. So it's nice to see some guys come in, and who knows how many of them will turn out. I can't imagine all of them are going to end up working out.
But right now, it looks like they are.
Right.
I mean, I mean, Mariota's probably the worst quarterback taken in the draft I've seen lately, and he's still a formidable quarterback.
Right.
We'll see what happens with the younger guys, but I wouldn't write off any of them.
Right. But while we're talking NFL, I guess the biggest issue people have had with the league this year, in the preseason, we thought it was going to be the helmet rule, the leading with the helmet, because we saw a bunch of those. The NFL basically told the refs, hey, kind of forget about this rule, don't worry about it anymore, and we haven't had an issue with that. The major issue we've had is with the reffing the passer penalties. I mean, you've seen all the videos of people like, do you see the one of the two people reenacting it, and he like put the bed behind the guy in the Brady, and he like... You know,
I saw the guy with his girlfriend who like picked her up and laid her down, grabbed
that's
the pillow out of his back
a 15-yard penalty
pocket.
though, because you can't lift the quarterback off the ground.
You're right.
That's 15
That's
for
15
him. That's 15. He kissed her head goodnight and everything. That's still a flag. I'm sorry, it's roughing. But obviously Clay Matthews was heated. Mike McCarthy was heated. He got penalized for the third straight game. Right?
Why wouldn't you be? If you're Clay Matthews, how else do you play?
Right. And I think the biggest thing
going full speed at a guy who's standing there. Now, granted, there is some where you're like, I'm going to uplift him and slam. But
I mean, when you're leading like that, of course the quarterback's legs, I mean, the quarterback's not going to stay planted and just rotate to the ground like that. Like, he's going to, with that momentum, his feet are coming off the ground. You can't stop that. And the thing is, now it's dangerous because William Hayes, Dolphins defensive end, tore his ACL last week trying to avoid landing on the quarterback. Trying to avoid a 15-yard penalty. So his year is done. And they've got to do something about this. They're supposed to have a conference call this week. The NFL's already said likely nothing is going to change.
It's going to come down to how about two-hand touch for the quarterbacks.
Right.
If you can get him with two hands, it's a sack.
Right. I mean, last year we saw in the Super Bowl the catch rule. I think the NFL talked to the refs and they fixed the catch rule because I think you know which play I'm talking about. The touchdown
or the Ertz play.
No, the Ertz play in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Well, obviously the NFL got it wrong with the Jesse James. That should have been a touchdown, but it was the same looking play. They got it right with Ertz in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think they fixed that. Unfortunately, they didn't wait until the Super Bowl to do it, but I'm saying, like, this year we're going to have a game in the playoffs, or we're going to have the Super Bowl come down to and be majorly affected by a 15-yard penalty on some bullshit because we can't touch the quarterbacks anymore, you know? Everybody on ESPN has been saying it, and I completely agree. This rule is not to protect quarterbacks. This rule is to protect your revenue because no one wants to watch the Green Bay Packers when they don't have Aaron Rodgers on the field. No one wants to watch the Patriots if they didn't have Tom Brady on the field. That's the problem. And the NFL you know, you can sit here in front like you're trying to protect the quarterback, but you're trying to protect your bottom line. You don't want a game with the Packers and the Lions in Week 12, and neither team is good because Rodgers is hurt, and the
Lions,
the Packers have gone like 1-6 since he left. You know,
I think it's a little bit of both. I 100% agree with the money thing, because if you put any team, use the Chiefs. They don't have Mahomes playing quarterback. What are the Chiefs?
We're not 3-0 with Chad Henne, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. You know, you can literally take Wentz. We had to deal with it. I mean, Foles obviously went crazy in the playoffs, but that's not always Nick Foles. He started the season 1-1. He threw 1 touchdown pass.
Right.
Like, I mean, you want your starting quarterbacks out there. Obviously, you got to protect them some ways, but I don't.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's football. This isn't a safe sport. I mean, every single one of these guys who has
tackling
played
at your
knees,
tackling the helmet. That flag that.
Right.
I 100% agree with that, but penalizing a guy for making a good
when
sack.
Clay Matthews leads with the shoulder, drives the quarterback to the ground, that's a textbook tackle, and we're gonna flag him for it. I mean, if he tackles Adrian Peterson like that on Sunday, he's not getting the flag.
He's not getting nothing.
You know, you can't sit here and do that. It's football. Every single one of these guys walks out on that field every Sunday knowing the risk that they take and knowing, you know. And I get it. We're trying to make the game safer. We already talked about CTE earlier in this podcast, but they understand what they're getting into. You know, let them play the game, and you know, I just can't handle it anymore. It's very frustrating to watch. Before we wrap up the NFL,
we got some trades.
I hinted at this, right? We talked about the Le'Veon Bell trade possibility. The other guy is Earl Thomas. Obviously, Earl Thomas held out all of training camp. He's made it very clear that he is playing for himself. He's protecting himself because he hasn't gotten paid yet. And hey,
Go get it, brother.
Right. I'm cool with that, man. Is if they're not gonna pay you, then wait. And some team obviously is. But
yeah, one of them was Dallas, and he beat him.
Right. Well, I mean, before even this, you remember last year when they played Dallas? I guess he like said to a coach after the game or something, like hugged him, and was like, "Come get me" or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, "Come get me," and then he plays him this weekend and gets 2 picks, takes a bow to the crowd, and they start booing him.
Right. And speaking
of obviously,
which,
he's not going there.
It's a good thing he even played because apparently he just like skipped practice this week or something. Decided he wasn't going to practice. And I mean.
You don't need to practice when you're a stud like that.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, absolutely. If you want to be a team guy, you want to show the teams out there that want to trade for you that you are that team guy. You're just more upset about the team that has you.
Exactly.
So, it's hit and miss with Earl Thomas. I honestly think the Chiefs do get him. I think the Chiefs go out there, go get him, especially if Eric Berry remains hurt. If he stays hurt, they are going to 100% go all in on getting Earl Thomas.
Right. And like I said already, I'm willing. I mean, trade the first round pick. I mean, obviously you.
What
can
do you
make,
need him for?
I mean, you've got other picks.
O-line?
Clearly, we don't think that our secondary is that big of an issue because we didn't waste a pick on a quarterback or a safety till the 6th round last draft. Yeah. I mean, go out there and
get him. Welcome to Andy Reid.
I know. Like, what the hell? That's the equivalent of, like, moving your offensive line coach to defensive coordinator.
Juan Castillo. What a genius move.
Yeah, so if I'm the Chiefs, I do everything I can to get him. Obviously, you hope Eric Berry still comes back. You've got Daniel Sorensen with a knee injury who I know he's going to miss significant time. He's already missed, but he should be back by the end of the regular season.
And honestly, Nelson's formidable backup.
Nelson, I mean, the cornerbacks really haven't looked that bad. The top two. You've got Fuller and Nelson.
Sure.
Skandrick has looked awful, but he's, covering slot. The safeties have been the issue.
He's not covering anybody.
That's true.
I can go out there and go catch 10 balls.
That's absolutely right. With Fuller and with Nelson, you've had your top 2 corners look decent. Skandrick's been bad, but your safeties have not been good either. And obviously, your 2 starting safeties are out in Sorensen and Berry. But at the same time, the more that we win and the more that we look like a team that's capable of going to the Super Bowl,
make a deep run,
go all in. There's no reason to waste. I mean, you've got Kareem Hunt on his rookie deal. You've got Tyreek Hill on his rookie deal. You've got Patrick Mahomes on his rookie deal.
I think Kelsey still might be on his, right?
I think we've re-signed him, but when we did re-sign him or extend him, it was still cheap because he wasn't Kelsey yet.
Yeah, go get him.
You cannot waste a year. The Chiefs cannot afford to waste a year because in 2 or 3 years, it's going to be only offense because we don't have money to pay the defense. With all these weapons we've got on offense, they're going to get paid. And once Mahomes, if he continues to, if he puts together even like 80% of what he's done in 3 games over his 4-year rookie deal, he's the highest paid QB in the NFL.
I would say so.
Yeah. So you've got to, while you've got this extra cap to work with, you've got to get out there and get a guy like Earl Thomas. You've got to do anything you can.
Run. You've got a 3-year
still got guys
window.
in free agency that we could sign, I feel like, if we needed to. Didn't we... Darrell Revis last year. I mean, did we sign him out of
got
free
him
agency?
like week 7, yeah.
Right. Okay, so we got him in free agency. So that still leaves, Breland and I know we got Eric Reed, who I doubt we'll see him because of the whole Anthem shit. But, I mean, there's guys out there that we could get in free agency, even if we don't want to go and trade for Earl Thomas.
I think you trade for Earl Thomas.
I hope so.
I think you do. I think the Chiefs realize that they've got probably a 3-year window because honestly, you're not going to be able to keep all those guys on offense. There's just no physical way you do it unless the rest of your team is that bad.
And now the biggest thing with the Earl Thomas trade, I mean, he's obviously in his last year of his deal,
so he's going to want to get paid.
Well, and that's the thing. So if you're the Chiefs, you're not giving up multiple draft picks. You're not giving up first or a second round pick if you don't plan on re-signing him. So obviously, if we trade for him, we need to extend him. And obviously, with the cap situation, we're already right up against the cap.
Who do you lose?
Right, that's
Barry.
I mean, honestly, Barry or Houston. I think.
Yeah, I think
Houston.
It's probably
Houston. I love him to death, but he's not been the same since those knee injuries. I mean,
I think Houston might be it. You let Holly go just to continue to get cap for your offense, which obviously is working now. But I think you got to do the same thing with Houston if you plan on keeping Earl Thomas.
Exactly. So we'll have to see, man. I'm praying for it myself. I hope to God that we can do something.
I think you give up a second, a fourth, and a conditional 6th.
And I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
I think that's probably the best they're going to get with Earl Thomas being on his last year.
Yeah.
Baseball time.
Baseball. Before we talk baseball, though,
let's talk about Tiger.
Tiger Woods!
Tiger, baby!
Number 80. He got number 80. I love it, man. I talked about golf last time, and I said golf needs Tiger Woods. I don't watch golf if Tiger Woods isn't contending.
No one watches golf without Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is golf. And honestly, you can't take away from it, but Tiger Woods is the best golfer that's ever played this game.
Right.
And Jack Nicklaus, obviously, most majors.
And whether Tiger Woods catches him or not, obviously there's been a lot of shit that Tiger Woods has dealt with. Tiger also
has a lot more people that play golf at a very, very high level.
Exactly. The competition.
I'm not taking anything away from what Jack Nicklaus did. Obviously a great golfer. You don't win that many majors. But when Vegas is making bets, Tiger Woods or the field, he's just that much better than the rest of his competition. He's going up against a young Phil Mickelson. Vijay Singh had his reign of, 4 or 5 majors in 3 years. You had Rory McIlroy come in not too long ago, Spieth. But you got Dustin Johnson, Justin Rose. You got some really, really good golfers. Sergio's still a decent golfer, but even 8 years ago, he was putting up pretty good numbers. But Tiger Woods is by far the best golfer that ever played this game.
Right. And, I mean, can we talk about that scene, Woods on 18 with that entire group? Like,
oh, my
that
goodness.
Video,
that
is the ratings that golf put up. I don't know the exact numbers, but, I mean, golf was right there with the NFL on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely.
We all know that the NFL rules Sundays. I mean, you're not nothing in the ratings is touching the NFL.
When you got Tiger Woods in first place after
except for Tiger Woods.
Drought,
right.
It's over.
Right. I mean, you saw golf was competing back when Tiger Woods was winning major after major, winning tournament after tournament. Golf was right up there on Sundays, and it's back, man. I mean, I had it on at work. Fortunately, where I'm at, we've got 18 million TVs. So I had the Chiefs on the big TV, and I had Tiger Woods on both sides. I mean, I'm watching that, and it was so great to see. I mean, I've watched so many tournaments.
He wanted that putt on 18 to go in so bad.
Oh, man.
For a birdie. He wanted that thing to go
awesome
in so
too.
bad. But he knew if he put it close, he was just like, I'm going to tap in and take my championship.
If he would have been birdie, I envisioned, like, a college basketball half court upshot, like just rushing the green and just partying. I mean, that's fun, man. It's so cool to watch. And it was funny in his interview. He's like, the art of the golf clap is dead because everyone's holding their phones in their hand. But still, I mean, just like that atmosphere is so cool. It's nice to see golf
not even
kind
putting
of
the ball yet.
I mean,
let's get it all.
Right.
I mean, it's awesome.
Right.
It's awesome.
And it's fun because I mean, obviously, golf has always been the stuffy old rich man game, and It's awesome to see. I know Tiger Woods is 42, but I mean he's brought a young generation of fans to golf, and I mean even now,
Spieth don't play golf if Tiger Woods isn't doing what he's doing in the early 2000s.
Right. Stephen Curry had an interview with Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter a couple days ago, and literally they were talking about. I mean Curry's tweets are all right. Curry's not a bad golfer himself when obviously as an NBA player, but. I mean, all of Steph Curry's tweets this week have been just fanboying over Tiger Woods. And I mean,
everybody's been doing that. I think I made a post on Facebook about Tiger Woods
Well, how cool is that we've got people? I mean, Steph Curry's 30. I mean, he's in the league. He's been in the league 10 years now. I'm pretty sure he's 30 now. Yeah, I know, right? I was shocked to hear that too, but I'm almost positive.
I'm looking that up.
No, look it up. I'm pretty sure.
I don't want him to be that old.
I swear, he's. This is his 10th season in the league, man.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, this is Steph Curry's 10th season in the league.
When was Davidson? 09? 10? 08?
08. We beat Davidson in our championship year, KU.
Wow, he might really be in the league that long.
This is his 10th year. I know they said it in that interview, but just so many guys watching Tiger Woods and looking up to Tiger Woods. It was really cool to see. And like I said in my Thursday podcast, Tiger Woods is winning another major. And what does he need 4 to catch Nicklaus?
Yep.
I think he gets it. I really do. He's only 42. You can play golf for a minute. Tiger Woods has changed his game.
Yeah, I think before you go to senior, it's at least 60. And then you have to start. You can still play regular majors, but I don't see Tiger playing that long. I see Tiger with maybe another 8-year window. Yeah. And that's mainly just him.
But that's 4 majors a year times 8. I mean, that's doable.
That's 32 majors.
Right. And you can't expect him to. I mean, I don't expect him to. I mean, obviously he's playing the best he's played in 8 years probably. But I can't. You don't see him playing like.
Oh my God, he's 30.
Yeah, 30, man. Steph Curry's old.
He's got a hot wife.
Is the Warriors dynasty over?
No.
They're all washed up.
Yeah, right.
Celtics, next 8 years.
Yeah, okay. Is Larry Bird unretiring?
No, but we have Irving and Hayward and Horford and Smart and
okay,
Tatum.
I'll one up you here. Curry, Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant. Oh wait,
Boogie
Cousins. I'm sorry, it's done.
But Iguodala. Don't forget Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, coming off the bench. That guy's they're gonna win again by another sweep.
We'll get into basketball later in the year, but in baseball, we've got about 3 or 4 games left, and the AL playoffs are all set. The Indians and Astros are going to square off in one of the ALDS matchups. The Astros have home field. The Boston Red Sox have home field advantage through the whole playoffs, and they'll face the winner of the wild card game, which is going to be the A's and the Yankees. More than likely going to be in New York, but it's still up for grabs. That is, right? It was like a 1.5 games.
But it's going to be in New York.
Yeah.
And New York's probably going to win that just because I do not want to go play in the Bronx in October. Period. End of discussion.
And nobody wants to play in Oakland ever, so.
That is true. They don't even want to go to the games in Oakland.
Right.
But they feel like they have to because they're actually in a playoff race. Right. And something that's never going to be football.
I mean, hey, as a Royals fans out there, let the A's be proof. The A's had the lowest payroll in baseball this year at $66 million, and they're making the playoffs. Don't let the fucking payroll and the money issue be an excuse for the Royals as to why we can't be a good team, okay? Obviously, we've won.
The A's have done it like that for 20 years. And
exactly. So I don't want to hear it. I understand if we can't keep guys like Hosmer and Moose and Kane and all those guys after their 6 years, but don't sit here and act like that we can't ever win.
Yeah,
right. That's the A's are the perfect example of why any team can do it.
Bitch ass net.
I know, it's so fucking annoying. The A's are a perfect example of why any MLB team can make it. Obviously, it's a lot harder. It's a lot more rare when you've got teams like the Yankees who can spend endless amounts of money. But the A's prove that you can build teams other ways. We've seen Moneyball. We've seen the way the Royals have done it too. There's other ways to build a team in the MLB. The NL playoffs, though, are still pretty wide open. The Cubs are going to win the NL Central. I mean, I think they're going to win it. It's 1.5 games, but I mean, and they're going to get home field.
Braves already clinched the East.
And
Colorado and the Dodgers are still up for grabs in the West, but one of them is going to win that. Brewers are basically the first wild card. They're beating the Cardinals right now, 9-4, and Colorado's beating the Phillies. So looks like Colorado's actually going to be in the wild card spot.
Yeah, after tonight, the Rockies will hold a half-game lead over the
Cardinals for the second wild card spot.
But, I mean, it could still change. I mean, the Dodgers lead the East right now. They could end up completely out of the playoffs in these last couple games. It's close.
It's going to be nuts. The Cardinals they got one more against the Brewers at home. Then they go to Chicago, but they hold their own destiny. Chicago's going to win the Central. You got to win your last 4. And honestly, I think you have to win your last 4 to even have a chance. I don't know who Colorado plays. I did not look at it for their last 3 games. Right. But they got one more against the Phillies. Probably going to sweep the Phillies. So it's going to come down to the last 3 games. The Cardinals have to win their last 4 to even get a chance.
Right. So I know my thing to get everybody to watch the last video was to get on and give you shit for picking the Cardinals to win the World Series. Who knows? I mean, I know they may not make the playoffs. They're not in a playoff spot right now. They are the Cardinals, though, and I mean, I would not be the least bit surprised. But either way, as bad as they started and firing their manager as a Cardinals fan, you can't be too mad about the way the season ended up. I mean, most wins in the league since the break, like you said, and I mean,
that's still true.
Right,
and that's still true.
Unfortunately, you know, just the way they started, it may be just a couple games too short. If they win their last 4, you know, the Rockies, I just feel like the Cardinals are one of those teams that have been there. The Rockies really haven't. So, I mean, pressure on last 4 games.
Yeah, the only thing I have a real question about it is the starting pitching. Colorado's starting pitching really isn't that good. Like, they don't really have the big game, the big guy, the big name guys out there pitching.
When we know
the Cardinals really don't either,
too, right?
Because they're throwing a lot of rookies at you. Gomber started tonight. That guy just came up from the minors this year. Flaherty started last night. You got Gant, who's been picking up starts. I mean, Wainwright looks pretty good his last 2 starts, but is he your guy? You don't know. Like, it's going to come down to these last 4 games. If the Cardinals get in, I will not be surprised if they make a deep run. They always do it.
Right? No, you're absolutely right.
They're going to play the Cubs if the Cardinals do win, they will play the Cubs if they beat the Brewers in the wild card game. That's going to be a good game, but don't be a bitly surprised if a Central team does make the World Series.
I mean, that's my pick still. I got the Brewers because I'm a homer for Kane and Moose and
how could you not be? They're playing good baseball.
No, absolutely. I
don't know if their starting pitching is going to be good.
And that just says again, right? And that just says again about the NL because the Brewers have the second best record in the NL,
and they're in the wild card,
right? And they're in the wild card. And whenever we were talking last podcast, the Brewers were still very vulnerable of missing out on the playoffs at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, they were very close to missing out on the playoffs.
Yeah,
so,
and I think with the win tonight, they do clinch.
I think so. Because, I mean,
they're going to have a 4.5. Yeah, they clinched.
I mean, they were only like a game and a half behind the Cubs, but just with
they're going to clinch a playoff berth.
Right.
The Cubs already clinched a playoff berth. It's going to come down on the Central, but I think the Cubs win that.
If the Cardinals sweep, right? I mean, the Brewers could win the division.
The NL Central is going to basically be your playoff race. Everything
and
else
then you
is
saw.
kinda...
Did you see the ESPN put up a scenario that was like a 4-way tie in the NL, and like
I didn't see that.
The Dodgers would have to play the. If the Cardinals went 4-2 and the Brewers went 2-4 or something like that, and like if every team had a certain record from here on out, the Dodgers would have to play the Rockies for the tiebreaker in the NL East. The Cardinals would have to play the Brewers for the tiebreaker in the wild card, and then the loser of the Dodgers and Rockies would have to play the winner of the Cardinals and Brewers for the other wild card spot. Because the Cards and Brewers would be playing for the first wild card spot, and then the loser would play tiebreaker for the second. Yeah, I mean that would just be something that's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, it's obviously not
never seen before.
Well, actually, it could. If the Brewers get swept, Colorado's won its first 2. So if they lose their next 4, the Brewers lose their next 4. The Cardinals obviously have to win their next 4. I could see a 3-way tie here.
Right, it could happen.
That
would just be wild. I mean, that would be
nuts.
something.
I don't want to have to play October baseball in September, but. We're going.
Imagine having to play 2 play-in games just to make a wild card.
Just
to make a play-in game. That would be the most exciting baseball, I think, and that would be amazing for the MLB. But obviously, in a 162-game season, the odds of that happening are extremely rare. We'll just have to see. But my picks, I'm sticking with them. I'm not changing them. I have the Brewers and the Yankees each coming out of the wild card in their respective leagues. If the Cardinals make it, I know they're your pick. Let's just say the Cardinals don't make it.
I would pick the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, okay.
I think the Dodgers do win the West. If they don't win the West, I think they would probably be in the wild card spot. I would have to pick the Dodgers just because of Kershaw. Yeah. You got Kershaw, you got Rich Hill, you got Wayne Buehler looking pretty good, but they've got the stout offense. You know, you got Yasiel Puig hitting 7th. I mean, yeah. And if they make the World Series, they get to add a DH. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. They trade for Machado. They're my pick if the Cardinals don't make it. Obviously, I do like the Brewers mainly because it's a Central team. I'll never pick the Cubs. Fuck them. Yeah, that's about all I got. No one's really giving the Braves a shot, which is kind of unfair to them, but they're so young. They weren't even projected to win the East this year. Obviously, the Nationals are just always underperforming. They got to get rid of Bryce Harper. They got to let him walk.
Blow it up. Move back to Montreal. Go back to the Expos.
Yeah, you gotta let Harper walk. I'm not saying he's the one holding him back, but he's getting all of the press. They're not even caring about Nationals baseball. They're just caring about Bryce Harper. So you let him walk. Focus on baseball again.
Where does Harper go?
He's going. He's not going to the Red Sox.
I think Red Sox.
No way. They can't afford to pay everybody that. I think, and I hate to say this, but he's gonna go to the fucking Yankees.
See, I just hope not. Like, I just sit there and pray that the Yankees are maxed out. Like, you have Stanton, and you have Judge, and you've got fucking...
Judge is on his rookie contract.
I know. Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, and that's only his second year, right? So they got 4 more years of Judge.
They're losing so much money this year in payroll. Sabathia is going to be gone.
No, this is the first year the Yankees aren't going to have to pay luxury tax ever.
I know. They're just cutting off more salary. So you give Sabathia's salary basically to Harper, plus obviously incentive based to where it's more favored in Harper. They can go get him. You get rid of Ellsbury's contract. That's like $15 million a year.
That really does set the Yankees up. I mean, for a lot of good seasons.
And I've always made this comparison. Like, I wanted Hosmer to sign with the Yankees just strictly because you'd have 2 left-handed bats that are Gehrig and Ruth type players in that stadium. That can lefties pull the ball.
A lot better than signing with the Padres.
For Hosmer, yeah. But I mean, obviously they got Stanton and Judge. They're going to hit their home runs. But add Harper left-handed in between them. Right. 2, 3, 4. You got Judge, Harper, Stanton. They're all going to hit 50 home runs.
Yeah.
And
that's wild.
But it could happen.
No, I know. You're right.
And I hope he doesn't go to the Cubs. I know him and Chris Bryant played together when they were kids. But, man, I don't know. Harper's... he cannot go back to Washington. If they want a chance in the NL East ever again, they have to let Harper go.
Yeah. You have anything else?
No.
I think that's it.
I'm good.
Well, this is it. That's all we got. It's been another week, another episode of BELLSKI and DMAN.
Yeah.
Shout out to Devin for rocking the
I wore a Macklin
jersey. Mizzou kid, Eagle, former Eagle, obviously.
Yeah. Might be another Eagle again this year if they keep getting...
Is he a free agent?
He's still a free agent. And
there's so many guys that are free agents that are just like, how?
Yeah. I mean, if the receivers for the Eagles keep getting hurt, Macklin will go back. They already re-signed Jordan Matthews.
Do it.
So why not?
My name's Colin Bell, Devin Willman, at KCR BELLSKI, and...
At Baseball Devin, it's DEVEN for all you people who don't know how to spell my name.
Thanks for watching, guys. Share this with your friends.
We'll be back next week.
We'll be back for sure.
We'll probably be back Saturday because I'm gonna go make his picks for him.
Hey, we might just put our we'll do like a double pick show. That way, one of our picks can be good at least.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.
You at least knocked it off.